Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, April the 5th. The year's 2020. Let's talk trading. Time for the weekly opening gap. But as you know, fellow traders, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. If you need trading, investment, or financial advice, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. And one of the things when we're trading, we always have to pay attention to, always, is our risk. How much are we willing to lose per trade? We don't want to lose any more than what we're willing to lose, whether it's a dollar amount or percent of our account. Okay, on with the charts. As you can see, we have some gaps that have already filled and some that haven't. The euro gapped up and it already filled. You can see it's at open +3. Not much going on. But look at these candles for the week here. Pretty interesting. You can see here that weekly pivot 109.08. Might want to shoot for that. Looking at it compared to the yearly open, you can see we're down 396 pips and we're 178 up from the yearly low. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down days in a row. It's time for a buzzard reversal, right? Some of those traders that know from way back around, what, 2010 or 8 or 9 when I came out with the buzzard reversals. Okay, we're putting in that opening range for the week here, that first day of the week. Here's the first day of the month range, first day of the year range. Inside bars, we've got a bunch here, a bunch for the daily. We've got some for the week and just a couple inside bars trades. Oh, I see. Let's see. We've got one here, and one here. Those of you who like to trade the inside bars. Range so far today, and it's only what, 4 hours into my trading day here. So we don't really have much of a range on some of these pairs. Buy zone, we've already taken out the pivot. It was in between the buy zone and sell zone. So really there was no strong bias there. And the original rat zone, you can see range is too low to do a rat trade. And looking here, you can see the monthly pivot at 1.1052. I think I need to switch. We've already taken out the daily pivot. And where is that weekly pivot once again? The weekly pivot line is at 109.07. And looking at the stats here on the daily on the euro, you see we've got a couple of missed pivots here, need to be taken out. And then if we look at the weekly, you can see here, once again, might want to shoot for that. Wick zones in and out. I didn't want you fellow traders to think that because I was doing the wall ball method, I had abandoned these other methods, because that's definitely not the case. And now in the wall ball method, there was a trader, I think they asked me the question on YouTube, and he was saying something about the candle color flipping back and forth. And what happens, if it flips on you? Well, I think you're not understanding something here. Let's take a look at the wall ball method, and let's just start with the previous candle. Oh, no, let's talk about let's start with the previous candle right here. Candle open, so you would go long here and short here. If price goes up here and you go long, it's not going to flip back and forth, okay, because the open's right here. It's not going to flip till it gets down here. So you've got some pips difference right here before it flips. So it's real simple. the candle's green, it hits the first line, you go long. If it went down, the candle's red, you hit the first line, you go short. Now right here on this previous candle, previous H1 candle, you can see that chances are you probably would have taken a hit. The low was at 107.98. Maybe you could have gotten a pip depending on your spread. So right here you can see prices moving up to the line. What do? You go long at the line. And it might go back and forth a few times. But the point is, you have to trade what you see. Okay. And it's just that simple. I'm curious about something here. Did I stick a cross above? Yeah. So, I, they was talking about, this fluctuation. Look, you can't trade closed candles. This is history. You can't make any money off these candles. This is the candle you can make money off of right here. So, for all intents and purposes, you could just blank out. Just look at the current candle. I mean, because it doesn't matter what it did. I mean, statistically, yeah, there's certain things we can look at and put the odds in our favor. But for the most part, these candles don't really help you. Sure, you can say, okay, yeah, well, it never closed above this line in the past 10 or so bars. So like when we look at the cross above, close above stats, yeah, so it's like here, if I go long here, or go long here, go long again, chances are I'm going to just take a couple of pips and get out. That's it. I'm not going to trade right now because it's Sunday and there's just not enough movement at this time of day. We've got the stats to show that. But if this was any other time, if this was the time to trade, you can see here, it's telling you price doesn't want to close above 108.20. Eventually it might, but right now, let's just go in and grab a couple of pips and be done with it. So right here, I mean, it crossed above 108.20. How many times? 13. But it only closed above 5 times. So what's this telling me? It's telling me take what you can get and then get out of the trade. Don't expect it to keep going. And so right here at the top of the hour, we can see, if we come back, you can see how price is moving back. So this hour, there was no trade trigger. Okay. I just didn't have the stats to do it. And this is looking at the M1 chart. And the thing about it is, it doesn't really matter. That's something that some of the traders are having a hard time understanding, that we're trading price at the line. You can have a daily chart here if you wanted, but I mean, whether you use H1, M15, M5, M1, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you get the shading at anything below H1, but the point is, price is going to do what it does. It doesn't matter what chart you're looking at, because these stats are going to be these stats. It's going to cross above or not. I mean, you can switch the time frames here too if you want. But here you go, 7 times it crossed above, but only once did it close above. So you can use these. You can, click across the stats here, 14. But this is the last 1,440 M15 bars. And 1440, that's how many bars there are in a day. You might only want to look at 100 bars or 50 bars or 24. It just depends on what you want to do. You can look at the H1 bars. So here, once again, this number's, less than half of this number. To me, that's saying, you got to grab it. But if you look at the other side of the fence, you go, hey, when it crosses below 108.10, it closed below at 13 out of 16 times. Hey, I might want to stick in that trade a little bit longer and try and get more pips based on statistics once again. So this is part of trading is, you use statistics, you do your homework, you have these real time, and just so you guys want to know, this is the TRO 2020 above, below, between, which will be going out in batch 3 sometime. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do my best to get it out to traders this week because I know some of you are interested in it, and I know you're also interested in the new Smart Rat Zone, and I've been playing with it over the weekend, and it probably is not going to get sent out till May because I find bugs in things sometimes. So if I develop an indicator, I show it to you. I like to play with it for at least a couple of weeks or until I'm satisfied that I think I found most of the bugs. But I put some interesting things in here. You can see some gradient shading. I did that because this shows you the lines, what I call the rat lines. And so here, show rat lines true. How many rat lines? It's kind of interesting. If you just show one rat line. Okay, so what it's doing is, for some reason, it looks like it might be doing two. It'll show you a rat line here and a rat line here. But what it's doing is, see, these are the arrays of how many times you have high minus close and close minus low. It's giving you the actual values. And then what it's doing is, depending on how many you want, it'll start showing you those lines, and then it'll just put the shading in. And I did something else here too. And this is really kind of for debug purposes, is that I did all of this stuff. But for example here, if you want to show the red rat array, this shows you all of the values. We had 250 values, so here's 0 through 9, 10. So you can look here and you just go across and you can see, wow, look at all these. That high minus close was this price, or this amount of pips rather, not price. But you can see when you do this, it's like, where's that spot where I should put that line? And that's why I call this the smart rat, because you can tell it, like, I want it at the 20% level. So you come back here and you can turn off the rat lines and you can turn off the array. And I guess I've turned everything off. Show lines true. Show rat line rat lines. And I'm still playing with this, so that's why I have to figure things out sometimes as I make the videos. I know what to do. I'll just hit reset. Go back to M5. And you can see, since I had it at the 20% level, it goes through the array and goes, okay, where's it, where's that line where below the line's 20% at a time? And so that's how that works. Or you might say, you know what? Maybe you say, how about, I want even better than that. How about just 10%? So you can see here, 10%. This is your red rat zone, and here's your green rat zone. But anyway, more to that as I work on that indicator some more. But remember, fellow traders, just trade at the line. It's not going to wiggle back and forth. So it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks.